Is here.
Please join me in standing ovation for our icon.
I welcome you all and thank you for understanding how alarming this situation is. We do want to talk about the mental health situation, the crisis.
Dr. Shivanand is the founder of YOI, Yoga for Immortals, a best-selling author and a globally recognized leader in the field of mental health. He brings with him a wealth of knowledge gained through years of learning, research, and lived experiences. His work highlights the profound importance of community, communication, continuity, and coming together. The positivity that arises when we connect with one another. After all, we're all social beings. Our diverse faiths, each in their own way, help keep us connected and grounded. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Ishan Shivanand.
We are here in this moment because there is a huge crisis. The crisis is mental health. I will be talking about the slides very soon. I'll be giving my presentation. But before I begin, I just want you to understand by numbers. The mental health crisis in America alone is worth $282 billion annually. In the whole world, it is equivalent to $2 trillion annually. In America alone, the cost of the mental health crisis is 200,000 lives. These are people that could be helped. These are dollars. I increase the volume or the mic increases the volume? Oh, yes. And for the longest time, we have been looking at this issue, how we can solve that issue. As a faith leader, I have been looking at it from the lens of faith. As a researcher, I have been looking at it from the lens of science. But when this issue comes, the mental health does not discriminate between faith. Depression is depression. Doesn't matter if it comes to someone from the Sanatan faith, or the Jewish faith, or the Christian faith. Substance abuse does not discriminate. So we came to the realization that if all of us are working towards the solution, why not we work together? Hence, we came up with a thought that all faith, it comes from grounded compassion within every single human being. The compassion that is given to us by God. The compassion that moves us to help the fellow man, that motivates us to do the good thing, the right thing. So our objective was to make a cross-sector interfaith alliance so that we could compound this compassion and tackle the issue. But then we realized that us faith leaders have been doing this diligently. What about everybody else? There is a technological sector. There is a healthcare sector. There is the academic sector. And if we just look at technology, if we just look at corporates, I will give you a small example of environmentalism. We have made strides in the last 50 years. Now there are summits, there are conversations. If even I want to start an industry, I must talk that what is the carbon credit that I can create, what is the carbon footprint that I can reduce. But when it comes to technology or any endeavor that can have a direct impact on mental health, There is no such conversation. There is no such answerability and accountability. With the onset of social media, we see a direct correlation with the rise in mental health issues. I am sure in every single sector that I have mentioned, there are people with compassion who would want to be part of the solution rather than the problem. And if such compassion exists, the compassion must unite. I would have clapped after this statement. The compassion must unite. So the whole objective of all of us sitting here is we want to bring our expertise. We want to bring our resources to understand the problem, to have a conversation, to help with research, but most importantly, execution. Strategize a tangible execution of the plan that is formulated to help every single child deal with their mental health crisis. And I'm thankful to all the leaders that are present, to all the academics that are present, and my special love to all the faith leaders that are present. It is beautiful that we can act on this together. I would like to end with a simple word that in Southeast Asia we use. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Let every single being experience the bliss, health, and happiness. Let every being be touched by the love of God. And let us join together in this effort. So thank you so very much. Before I present, I thought I will just talk about why we are here, and then let everybody start the conversation, and then I can end with some statistics. And I know statistics can be boring, but it will help us understand the problem, motivate us to be part of the solution. So thank you so very much, and my gratitude to all of you for being present for this monumental mission.
Not because the world has suddenly become kinder, not because our technologies have at last made us whole, not because the crisis before us is small enough to be resolved by one more conference, one more slogan, or one more polished declaration. We are gathered because the crisis is real, because it is deep, and because at last enough of us have begun to see what is breaking in our world, that is not only of our mind, but also the bonds between minds, and not only the individual spirit, but the architecture of belonging itself. For many years, we have spoken of mental health.
And now think about today. You would think over time that our communities would grow stronger, right? And closer. They would be better. Raise your hand if you think that your community that you live in now is better, stronger, closer than the one which with you were raised as a child.
Sincere appreciation to the town clerk, Ragni, Srivastava. Thank you so much. And to the honorable speakers, thank you so much. It's a great honor. The Surgeon General of the United States recently warned that loneliness is becoming a major public health concern, comparable its health impact to smoking many cigarettes a day. Loneliness affects emotional well-being. It affects physical health. It affects life expectancy. But statistics only tell part of the story. Isolation does not always look like loneliness. Sometimes it looks like a successful professional who has no one to confide in. Sometimes it looks like a teenager scrolling through social media, feeling left out of everyone else's happiness. Sometimes it looks like an elderly neighbor whose phone rarely rings. Isolation often hides in plain sight.
My mother told me as a child, she quoted a great poem, "No man is an island," and it took many years before I really understood what that meant. I say again today, no man is an island. As the American Legion says, when somebody is in crisis, be the one. Be sensitive. Know the veterans you are speaking with. Do your buddy checks. Be sensitive to what you hear and what you feel, because you may have to jump in and help them through a crisis. Have those broad shoulders. Your brothers and sisters need you.
You have to compete. You have to compete with other people. You shouldn't share. It's this moment where we are greedy over eyeballs. But what I found over and over again with working with these top leaders, with people who are at those peaks that people are trying to reach, is that they are the most compassionate. They are the ones who share the most. They are the ones who work together. They are the ones who collaborate, and that you really and truly grow and build when you are willing to work with each other and help raise all the boats together on a single tide.
अउल अल्लाह नूर पाया कुदरत के सब बंदे एक नूर ते सब जग उपजिया कौन भले को मंदे। सानू बड़ी खुशी है कि रगनी जी जो एक सोशल वर्कर है इन्होंने आज ये उपराला किया है और ये जो आज गैदरिंग की है ये विच सानू भी मौका मिले क्योंकि असी गुरु नानक दरबार दे मेरी जो कमेटी है अब सारे इत्थे ही आया तो एक बहुत वधिया काम है सोशल वर्कर वास्ते ते साड़ी कम्यूनिटी वास्ते जो सारे लॉन्ग आइलैंड विच रहिंदे ने। साढ़े च एक मतलब है बहुत ही एक फिलासफर कहते ने फारसी विच है अकले सलीम दर बदन साले मस्त। असली सोच वधिया उत्थे होंदी है जिथे के तुहाडी मैंटल हैल्थ जो है वो वधिया होएगी। जे हेल्थ साड़ी वधिया होएगी तो साड़ी सोच भी वधिया होएगी।
This word AI all the time, but I want to ask you guys, do you understand what AI means? What is really this AI? Next slide, please. You can think of AI to be like an untrained child. Garbage in, garbage out. When we were kids, right, whatever our parents taught us is how we approach life, is how we do things today. Next slide. What we say in AI, and I'm trying to give you a little glimpse into the technology side, to put it simply, it is monkey see, monkey do, right? What you do is you give your computer a bunch of images and you tell these are cats. And you give a bunch of other images and tell these are dogs. Then you supply it an image of a cat, it'll automatically tell you it's cat. Let's flip that. Now you send it images of cats and call it a dog, right? The computer will tell you it's a dog. So however you train your AI today is the output it gives you. Same goes for a child. What if we looked at dogs today and a child was told that it's a giraffe? What would that child call it? The child would call it to be a giraffe. So in a sense, next slide, that is what AI is. And AI can be used or thought of as a double-edged sword. You can give it to a Michelin star chef and it could become a wonderful, delightful meal, or you can give it into the hands of someone bad and they can commit crime with it. To give you some numbers and put things into perspective, if you use AI today, you can improve the detection rate of cancer in research by over 40%. And on the flip side, there are cyber criminals who are using AI today to cause $12 trillion of global loss. I repeat, that number is 12 trillion with a T, and that is equal to the third highest GDP on this planet after United States and China. So that is what is the power of what AI can do and the harm it can cause. Next slide. So what is really the problem? Next slide. The world is evolving today, right? We can see parents, grandparents, kids, and many of us on the phone all the time using technology. Next slide. To give you an idea, we sitting in this room are adults, right? Somewhere 20 and above. But really the world that is building are these kids who are using the phones. As we talked about neighborhoods, how many of our neighborhoods while growing up versus comparing it to neighborhoods today, they're so different. Today, 97% of the young people are using internet every single day. Next slide. And half of our children today are using AI to do some form of fun, learning, or their homework. So this is something that is going to be in the lives of every child going forward. Next slide. In this beautiful wild world where there'll be robots, flying cars, cars driving themselves, we have to figure a way out as to how we bring technology, how we bring our faith leaders, researchers, and the medical institutions together to create something amazing. Next slide. We will be the ones who would be choosing the world we live in and the kind of world we want to build. If we are going to be using the phones today, we don't want it to be a chaotic world. We want it to be a beautiful world in those phones.
Just to share my experience as a clinical cardiologist, interventionalist, and Shivyogi. As most of us have understood, we all talked about faith. And John, I want to bring something what you said beautifully, that all faith has one important aspect is compassion. What I learned from Ishan's father, which I practice in my clinical medicine. So I want to share that experience. But before that, I want to share why we are together here. As Ishanji mentioned, that in last 50 years, world has not become as good as when we are growing up. There's a lot of mental health issue all over the world. It's not just restricted to Western countries, it's all over, even in African countries. If you look at the WHO data, almost 1 billion people are impacted with mental health disorders. Substance abuse has increased multifold, not only in Western countries, but even in Punjab, in Gujarat, everywhere you can find fentanyl now. John and we have worked together on fentanyl crisis. So just want to let you know the access is biggest problem for this availability. Ancient Sanatan Parampara, it teaches, the Eastern philosophy teaches you that you are not only for yourself, you are for the universe. As Ishanji said eloquently, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. And they also emphasize to us that you have to love yourself first, because if you don't have self-esteem, you are going to be having a lot of negative thoughts. Negative thoughts leads to a lot of destructive behavior, and that is not good for society. So what Ishan's father taught us is love yourself first. This year, that 1 billion people who are suffering in the world with mental health disorder, they need to get benefit. We need to develop policy together. Unfortunately, the mental health providers numbers are very low, 13 per 100,000 in the world. So that is very frightening, and this is where I think the thought which you guys shared today will bring our force much larger than 13 per 100,000, because each one of you can be compassion leader for your own society.
To the need. Can I have the slide one? This talks about the problem, the global mental health crisis. So if we look at the 4 data cards, 1 billion people are affected from mental health issues around the world. 91% people may not get the correct treatment. Let me reiterate that. The leading cause of death of the ages 18 to 24 is drug overdose. The 282 billion annual cost is equivalent to a recession every single year, or 10 times NASA's budget, projected to reach 14 trillion by 2040. So what is driving this? Next slide, please. The Surgeon General says that one of the biggest root cause is community detachment. Surgeon General's advisory, quote, 67% drop between time and friends. 16% feel, only 16% feel that they are part of a community. Let me say that again. Only 16% feel that they belong. There has been a decline in religious communities from 70% to 47%. Community detachment causes mental illness. That is causal, not correlational. The US Surgeon General's advisory established in 2023 that disconnection is a root cause. There is a 67% drop in time spent with friends as technology increases, rises. We are trying to create artificial forms of connection, but unfortunately, it is not giving us the social cohesion that is most important. Think of it as just like we need nutrition to survive. There are psychological factors that are needed for a cognitively healthy individual to thrive. And if we take away community, we take away purpose, we take away belonging, then this is what happens. Religious community memberships have dropped from 70% to 47% in 2 decades. The communities that once held people together are disappearing. Next slide, please. If disconnection is the cause, reconnection is the cure. And what does reconnection require? As you can see in this slide, medicine cannot prescribe belonging. We can invest, and even though we are investing 2% of the budget, yay, even then medicine cannot provide what is the root cause of this suffering. And the root cause is lack of connection, and something that can help overcome this is presence, purpose, and practice. I will repeat: presence, purpose, and practice. Presence means a person's perception that they are seen, that they belong, that they are a person with flesh and blood, that they exist. And this is something that community can give. Purpose. When I was looking at the economic forum held at Davos, a question was asked to Elon Musk that if robots are going to do everything, what are people going to do? He thought for a long time, and what he said can literally be amounted to this expression: we are figuring that out. That if robots are going to do everything, what about purpose? What makes us get up in the morning? What makes us who we are? Who answers the existential questions? What is our drive? Why are we here on this planet? Community can give us purpose. So if you look at our logo, that is the C, red, and the other one is the U, and together it becomes a heart. So today you are here to witness a momentous occasion, the inception of a community that will bring tangible and powerful change in all sectors around the world. You are looking at the inception of a force that will look and try to tackle the challenge, the greatest challenge of the current times, which is the mental health crisis. And I am so thankful for the leadership that is present here. that has agreed to help us, give us that vision and that structure. And I hope that the Shivयोग community will be a part of this movement so that we can take and amplify these voices around the world.
Loneliness has commonality with chronic stress, post-traumatic stress disorder, toxic environment at work, toxic environment at home or around your house, and it causes our cells, brain cells, talk to the environment. It has been proven, as my colleague just said before, that there's increase in cortisol if there's chronic stress. On the sympathetic nervous system side, there's increase in norepinephrine and epinephrine. All these are bad chemicals, and they affect the cells in a bad way. They depress our immune system. In those people who are lonely for a long time, they do not respond as well to vaccinations just because their immune system is so down. Their genes are so bad that they cause inflammation in the body, and inflammation can cause every little disease or every major disease you can think of, right from insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, obesity, cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative disorders, and even cancer in the long run. So it has an impact on our body for the worse, not just the acute effects which we talked about before, that it has, it can cause anxiety, depression, but it can have a major impact in it's a spectrum of diseases which can happen with chronic stress.
Mama's good friend.